Hi and welcome to our Next Flip preaching video as we continue our series on seeking God's direction, discerning the call for our lives as individuals and as a community of faith. So we're going to be looking at some verses from the Old Testament this week from 1 Kings chapter 19 verses 1 to 18. Now this is a long passage and it deals with the situation that occurs just after Elijah has dealt with the prophets of Baal, where he builds the altar and they pray to their God to try and make the altar set on fire, and he pours water on his altar 2 or 3 times, and yet the flames come down and set it on fire. And then Elijah does away with all of the prophets. And we begin this chapter with this communication between Jezebel and the king. And there's this message sent to Elijah saying that they're after him. They're coming to destroy him after what he has done. And so quite rightly, Elijah disappears, scared for his life. And there's some interesting bits in here around just the journey of discernment, the way in which God relates to Elijah and how he relates to each one of us. So we see Elijah, he sets off into the distance and he then leaves his servant and he travels a bit further into the wilderness to get away. And then we're told he lays down and kind of says, Lord, I want to die. I want this to be over. And as he lies there, an angel of the Lord comes to him and tells him to get up and to eat, which he does, but then he lays back down again. And we're told the angel comes back again and again tells him to get up and eat and drink. So we have this double happening of the angel of the Lord coming to Elijah and telling him to get up and to eat and to strengthen himself for this journey that he then goes on, 40 days into a 40-day journey. So we have this kind of dual thing that happens. Then we'll see that this happens again in the second section, because after this journey, Elijah goes into a cave, and then we're told the word of the Lord comes to him. When the word of the Lord comes to him, it asks, Elijah, what are you doing here? And Elijah gives this spiel about, the covenant's being broken and the people won't listen to him, and they're after him and trying to kill him. And then God does that famous bit where he passes by Elijah, not in the whirlwind or the fire, but in that small voice that comes and speaks to him. And then asks again, what are you doing here? And Elijah gives exactly the same spiel. The Israelites, they've broken the covenant, they're coming to kill me. It comes all again. So again, we've got this repeat because God has asked the same question twice. And even though the small voice of God has come to him in amongst the fire and whirlwind and flame and all of those things, Elijah hasn't really shifted. He's still in the same place. And yet God asks him again. And this time, instead of just showing him something, he tells him what he needs to do. This is the way that you need to take going forward. And this is a story of discernment that comes in a very difficult time for Elijah. Sometimes when we are where God needs us to be and we're doing what God needs us to do, it doesn't mean that everything in life is going to be wonderful. Sometimes it's really difficult. And, Elijah has got to that place where he just wants to end it all. He doesn't want to go on. He's tired, he's fed up, he's scared, and he just wants it to stop. And yet we see God nurturing him in very, supernatural ways. This is, the sending of angels to feed him and to make sure he is strengthened. Yet there is this care from God to make sure that he is okay. And there's an interesting thing that, these things are repeated. The first time the angel comes in Elijah, he doesn't tell him what to do then. It's not until the second time that Elijah is ready to listen. And it seems that that's the same with God when the word of God comes to him. He asks him these questions, why are you here, Elijah? And Elijah gives the spiel. Then God reveals himself in a small voice. And then God asks him the same question again. And Elijah answers in exactly the same way. But this time, he is more ready to hear that which God tells him and then goes and does. And I wonder how much that is like when we are discerning something, that actually it takes God 2 or 3 times maybe to get through to us. And sometimes he asks us the same question and sometimes we answer in exactly the same time. It's just we're more ready for whatever reason. The experiences that have gone before and in between actually affect us, and so we know what to do the next time round. Why don't you spend some time with these verses, read through 1 Kings 19, 1 to 18, ask some questions of the story, see which phrases jump out and grab you, whatever it might be, and we'll be looking at it in more detail again on Thursday night, but allow it to be a time in which God speaks to you and continues to challenge you and guide you through this situation. It's been great sharing this with you again, and I will see you all sometime soon. Take care. Bye.